Welcome to Creating Yourself podcast. I'm your host, Paige. This is an inspirational podcast where guests come on and share their real life stories. They discuss their struggles, hardships, and traumas. They also discuss how those encounters have helped them change, grow, and the healing process they've experienced. They share where they are today in hopes of helping someone else who could be going through the same or similar situations. So join me as we inspire others weekly to become the best versions of themselves. Hey y'all, we're back with another episode of Creating Yourself podcast with me, your host, Paige. Today I am super excited to have on Bobby Vivid with me. He is known on TikTok very well. If you don't know him, you're living under a fucking rock. So I don't really know what to say about that. Hey Bobby, how are you?
I'm here. I'm here.
Right. Listen, I hopped on and our backgrounds matched. So I was like, oh cool, our backgrounds totally match. So love that to start out.
Yeah. So even down to like the pink neon and then the purple everything else.
Yep. Yep. Love it. So
I hate the way neons look. I hate the way neons look.
I don't know. I love mine. Yeah? I keep mine turned down so you can kind of like read it for the most part. So
that's my lowest setting. My lowest setting.
I think mine goes a little lower actually. Yeah, just I followed you for a while on TikTok. I've been around for a while on TikTok, but I followed you for, God, I don't know, probably 2.5 years now, maybe. So, kind of seeing some stuff that you've been through. So we'll get there, I feel like.
So you came in right around the era of me going to Vegas a lot.
Probably, yeah.
Yeah, with that ex.
Yeah. Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
No, we'll get there. We'll get to all that fun stuff.
I have zero bad to say about her.
Right. Yeah. I think I came in right at the end of all that stuff, but.
Oof. Okay.
We'll get there. So I'll just let you get started and kind of tell us about you and growing up and where it all started.
All right. So where it all started, I'm from a little ass town in Pennsylvania outside of Pittsburgh. And, basic, like, normal, like, it's like what it is for the area. Like, broken home, dad left when I was 8, blah, 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 blah. Like, single mom life. And, grew up with my little brother. And then in the middle of growing up, boom, you're going to be a dad. And I was like, shit. So that's a weird situation. I mean, if you know, we'll get there, but that's down the road. But it was like, boom, now you're a dad. Like I wasn't even out of high school yet. So I never like really had that like opportunity to like be in my 20s. You know what I'm saying? Like be an adult out of high school with no responsibility.
Right.
So it's always been you're the man of the house and then you're dad. And I'm like, well, shit. And then I did all that. And then I went to the Navy after a while because I was like I was struggling like mentally and like hard to hold down a job, and I couldn't find anything I wanted to really do because I always wanted to join the military, but I was stuck on the Air Force. And when at the time, this is 2006-ish, 2006-ish, it was like the Air Force wouldn't take you if you had a kid out of wedlock. You had to like sign over your parent rights. And I was like, no way I'm going to do that.
Yeah.
And so I just didn't go, and I held off for a year. And then I went to the Navy because I got like, this is like the height of like, Iraq and Afghanistan, like back at, like 2006.
Yeah.
Like it was like,
absolutely.
Like it was the height of everything. So like, everybody's like going to the military. I'm watching all my friends get on buses and like get on planes, and they're taking off and they're going, and I'm going to all these going away parties. And I went to one. I got really, really drunk, and me and my buddy looked at each other and we're like, I'm tired of going to these going away parties. Like, I wanna have my own.
Yeah.
So that day, like, so this is at like 5 o'clock in the morning, and we're on. We hopped on our computer, I think, because I don't know if like smartphones weren't really a thing yet, and
Right.
but we found the local recruiter, and we rolled in. We were there waiting, and the Navy was the first office that was open, so that's what we joined.
Right.
The Navy recruiter was the first guy in, and he's like,
Yep.
"Can I help you guys?" And we're like, "We're trying to leave," and he's like, huh. His eyes lit up. He's like, "Got him."
Yeah.
So
Yep.
we signed up. I was gone maybe 2 weeks later.
Oh,
I
wow.
took off, and then I was gone for like 6 years, and that might not have been my best choice of action, because I tried to make it work with Bailey's mom and that, but like it just didn't work. And then I got stationed in Japan for like 3 years, and at one point, like, my grandmother died like as soon as I got there, so I came back, so I didn't get to go home for like over a year. I was like in Japan, like, but I couldn't see my kid, I couldn't do anything. And like, this is 2006. It's not like I can like FaceTime or
I was
like
going to say there's no FaceTime.
every now and
there's
again
no,
I got
Skype and Zoom and all that. Like, there's no.
yeah. I think Skype was like brand new,
So it's like maybe brand new.
and so you had to have like a good computer for that to happen. And
Right.
It took a while to get a good computer. But I did that, and then I came back and I ended up getting married, and like I got married while I was in the Navy to my little brother's wife's best friend. And it was just like just for the hell of it. Like, you want to get married? Like, we never dated or anything. You want to get married? And we were married for like 3 or 4 years, and then I got out of the Navy and started living civilian life again. And I took a really hard landing in the civilian life, like really hard landing. Like, I didn't know what to do with. I was basically like I was forced out in 2012 when Obama did that force reduction. So like half of the country's forces were just like, we're not gonna keep you. You guys have a good day. So we did that, and so I got my ticket punched on that after extending, and but yeah, I just my goal was like, I was a career military guy, and I had no idea what to do with myself after that. And it was just, I hit really hard. I joined a motorcycle club, like, started doing a little bit of drugs, drinking too much. Then I ended up with a couple DUIs, and then I ended up getting out of there, and because like some bad shit went down, and I was like, and I just like disappeared into the night. And
yeah, those aren't always the easiest to get
lived
out
up and
of.
down.
My dad was in a motorcycle club for a while, but luckily his was kind of an older motorcycle club, so they were like, I mean, if you don't really want to do it anymore, it's cool. But, knowing that lifestyle and how that can be, it's not the easiest thing to just walk away from.
No, well, it was very, very difficult for me to walk away from. And even when I came back, because I came back because I was like, I need, like, well, Bailey looked at me and she's like, I like saw her, like, I had somebody bring her to me, like, and she's like, Dad, why can't you just come home? She was like 5 at the time. And I was like, so I came home, and, I got the shit kicked out of me a couple times, and, whatever. And it was really difficult to get out of that. And, like, the club I was in was, like, one of the, like, top clubs. Like, how do I say it like legally? You know, like one
One of the
percenters. Like I was a
one
one percenter,
percenters. Yeah.
right? Yeah,
Yeah.
and I was really really young at the time. I was like one of the youngest in the country, and
Hmm.
it was just wild. And I was just not going anywhere in life. And but I came back and I did what I did and sucked it up. Um, Started a construction company eventually, and like then Bailey moved in with me full time, and then like we did the construction company for a while. Had that I had that for a long time, like almost 10 years. Like almost 10 years
Hmm.
we were doing that, and it became kind of successful. But I have like this thing where I get really bored with what I'm doing. And
Hmm.
I'm like, I've had so many different careers, and like I'm leaving like a lot of gaps here because I've had like so many different jobs and careers. And it's not because I'm not good at them. I just get bored, and I'm like,
Yep.
what's next?
I'm the same
So,
way. I get very bored very easily. Like people look at my resume and they're like, "You were here for a year. You were here for a year and a half. You were here for a year," and I'm like, I
mhm.
just get bored. Like I'm ready to move on and find something else to do.
Yeah,
It's not because
yeah.
I
Well, it's
don't
like
like
I get
it
really good at
or
what I'm doing, and
whatever. It's just I'm like over it. I'm ready to find something else to do.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's
Same
just
way.
not exciting. I like excitement, and I live in chaos. Like my entire life has been chaos. Like so, I thrive in this shit.
Mm-hmm.
And when things actually start to like settle and like kind of look okay, I throw a monkey wrench in, and I'm like, haha, watch this, motherfucker.
Yeah. Yep.
And no, like I did that for so long. Now I think the universe is just like, oh yeah, this is how we live. Okay, let me do this for you now.
Yeah.
So now I'm like, now I'm like, I spend all this time fighting the universe against this dumb shit that keeps happening to me, and it's just it's really annoying.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
I
like
get that.
it's hard. Like I laugh at it, but I have to. It's comical at this point.
Mm-hmm.
But okay, so construction company, then had Bailey. TikTok starts, and I break up with a girl, and I have zero idea how to bond with a 13-year-old little girl. I am at the time, you know what I'm 32, 33-year-old man. I have no idea how to deal with it. Like, and I don't have that. Now it's just me and her, and I don't have
Mm-hmm.
that like female input to like help me out.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm like, what can I do to like bond with her, like get on her level? And I just started making TikToks with her, and then shit blew up,
Yeah.
and then life got crazy, and a couple different girlfriends, couple different here's theirs, did a little bit of adult work, hopped on the OnlyFans train, and then I got out. Well, I was dating a girl within like the past year or so, and she made like life pretty difficult for me, and
Mm-hmm.
like was like she was also a model, and she's like, well, I'm gonna keep working, but I don't want you to work. And I was like,
Mm.
okay. So I kind of like was forcefully retired, and that was that. And now I'm here today, and um yeah, and Bailey's not. So she
Yeah.
was I mean, anybody that like I feel like anybody that actually knows my name, like they know who Bailey is. They know
Yeah.
about like her passing. They know, but like if you don't know who I am, my daughter was hit and killed by a drunk driver in February of 2023. So
Yeah. Have they ever
yeah, and
found out?
it's been an absolute shit show since then. So say it
Yeah.
again.
Have they ever found out anything about that or who did it or anything like that?
We've always known who did it.
Oh,
Like
okay.
the guy was caught. The guy was caught really quick.
Mm-hmm.
Like he was like within like an hour of the 2 hours of the accident, I think it was,
Oh, okay.
because he like had a flat tire, drove across town, and then passed out in the gas station parking lot. And said he doesn't remember hitting anything, and he took out my daughter and an entire like block of shit. So, but now we're still like he's supposed to. Well, I guess you said by the time this is actually out, we may have gone to court already. So we're
Mm-hmm.
scheduled for October 4th, but we've been scheduled for court like 4 times with that.
Mm-hmm.
So who knows what's gonna happen?
Yeah.
But he's
Yeah.
been sitting in jail. Like they won't let him go because he's Canadian, and like once he's in Canada, we can't touch him anymore.
Yeah.
So
Well, at least they won't let him out. I mean, because, the justice system right now in our country is fucking shit, in my opinion. So I'm surprised, honestly, that they have kept him that long without letting him go. So at least they've done their due diligence on that. I'm honestly
they
surprised
tried to
on that.
offer him a plea, but I wouldn't sign off on it. They tried to give him a plea for like 6 to 12, and I was like 6 to 12 for killing my kid.
No,
That's not
absolutely
good
not.
enough.
No, I'm with you. I would not be okay with that. Like, I remember seeing it on TikTok when it happened, and I was just like, well, wait, what? What happened? Like, I can't even imagine that pain and what you've went through at that moment and have gone through every day since then. I mean, every second of every day. There's.
It's like not something that I wish on anybody, and
Mm-hmm.
like they say, like grief is a very weird monster.
Mm-hmm.
Because like you have that grief, and like I had a therapist explain it to me that like grief is like a ball, and when it happens, it takes up every aspect of this like bag, right? Well, now as you
Yeah.
live, like that grief is still there. But as you live and you continue to live your life, you just fill that bag up with other things, and then it becomes more manageable, I
Mm-hmm.
guess. And
Yeah.
like, there's lots that go into whatever. But I know for a fact if I wouldn't have been online and would like didn't have like the group of friends that I had at the time, I wouldn't be here. There's no doubt in my mind. Like, I have um I've sat by myself with a fifth in a firearm quite a few times,
Yeah.
and like every now and again you get there, and then I think about like well, I hear her in my head, and she's like, she would kick my ass, because
Mm-hmm.
we dealt with suicide in our family. Like she had attempted twice before this had happened. And
Mm-hmm.
like that's why it was so like heartbreaking, because she was finally like in a good place. Like we
Yeah.
had, done the therapy. We were doing family-based therapy, which I recommend for anybody. If you are like you have a teenager and you're having trouble, like I didn't even know about this stuff. But family-based therapy is like when the therapist comes in, and it's basically like therapy for the whole family.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
it's geared towards the kid, but like you're there, you're in the conversation,
Mm-hmm.
like they're
Teaches you
helping
like
you like
how to
guide.
parent the
Yeah.
kid as well too. Yeah, I have a
Mm-hmm.
14-year-old son,
Yeah.
and as well as an almost
Okay.
9-year-old son, and he's done therapy on and off, gosh, since he was like 5, because he's had like anger issues and just temperamental things. And I've done therapy on and off for like 12 years myself, and I don't think people.
Yeah.
I mean, to me, therapy can always benefit you. I just don't see the hurt in therapy for anybody. Um, so
Mm-hmm.
like, my youngest sees a therapist at school because, it's just easier for the therapist to go to school than me trying to take them once a week. You know, this one over here and this one over here and me over here. You know, it's like, just go to the school and see him. It's great. And then report back to me. It's the same difference because, you know, whatever. But I mean, yeah, it's great. I don't think therapy can ever be a bad thing. So I think, you know, the family therapy is always great.
Yeah, well, and like for me, it was really eye-opening because like we sat there and like I at the time I was just your regular dude, like very like I am man, you know, and I was like, therapy stupid, I don't need no therapy, this shit, but I'm like pushing it on my kid, and I'm like, yeah, therapy's good for you, and I'm like, this is dumb shit, I don't need no therapy, but then they kind of like tricked me, like with the family base, because then I started getting involved in therapy. But then it turned into like a lot of me talking. Like I got a lot of shit bottled up. You know, I've lived this life and I've never like talked about it or felt my feelings because like I'm a man and we're not allowed to have feelings. We're not allowed to feel our feelings. We're not allowed to like have a bad day. You know, we're supposed to get everything done and like that's supposed to be our life. And like it was really difficult for a long time. But like when I started that therapy, I like after a few months of it, like I was like, this is kind of cool. This is kind of cool. This is kind of helping me because now I can like do my feeling stuff, but I'm doing it like in this like private, like only me and my therapist know, you know. Like we're the only one. Like I'm not any less manly, but like but now today I like I've gone to therapy on and off for since then, like, and that was like 4 or 5 years ago. So I've been a very huge advocate of like men's feelings and like, hey, it's okay to be whoever you are, because like one of the big things with Bailey was when she came out, like, because she's a lesbian, and when she came out to us, it was the first attempt, and like her thing was like, I wanted to come out, but I thought you would hate me, and I'm like, why? Like,
yeah,
I like whatever gave you that like connotation that I would have a problem with you being gay. Like, it's not like love who you love, be who you are. And I looked at her and I'll never forget this. We're sitting out at my house at the time and we're getting a fire together. And I'm talking to her and I was like, babe, I said, don't ever think that you can't talk to me. And that, like, she's like, yeah, but then all the kids at school, they're going to make fun of me. I said, honey, something I've learned in life is if you are just be you. Just be you, and the entire world will like thank you for that, right? And like you're going to be appreciated and loved just by being yourself. And people don't realize that. Like when you're wearing a mask, like people don't trust you, people don't want to be around you, like like they know something's off about you. They might not know what it is, and it might be something stupid. But like that aspect is like, but this little shit looked at me and went, why, Dad? You don't. And I was like, whew. And that like it was like a 50 caliber to the chest, man. Like, I was like, holy hell, from the mouth of babes, you know what I'm saying? And I was like, I'll make a deal with you. I said, I'll make a deal with you, kid. I said, you be yourself and I will be the truest, most authentic version of myself as I can be. And that's more or less the day that like Bobby Vivid was born, you know?
Yeah.
That's when I started getting into like cutting my hair how I wanted, wearing my beard how I wanted, getting tattooed how I wanted, you know, like paint my nails, you know, all this like stuff that like really has no gender, but like society based, like it's always been like either weird or it's been feminine or whatever. Emo. And I'm like,
my kid will call it emo, you know, and I'm like, it's not emo, it's just, it is what it is.
It's just personal expression.
Yeah.
And like I slowly got to like where I am today, and like when it comes to like when I look in the mirror, I'm like, that's the guy. And I just recently fixed the most downing part of myself, so now I'm like feeling really good. But I've always had really bad teeth, and I just got these like pearlies, and I love
know, I
it.
saw
So
that.
it's like taking my confidence up a little bit. So now I'm like
Right.
looking in the mirror and I'm like happy with what I see. I
Yeah.
mean,
I
it's
remember
just
seeing
like it's
negative
a crazy
comments on that
feeling. It's a crazy
video
feeling.
too. And people being like, well, and I'm like, who gives a shit? If it makes someone else,
Well, why do you have bad teeth?
if it makes you feel like good about yourself, who cares? And it's like, just because people have bad teeth doesn't
Right.
mean they've done drugs or they've done this or they've done that or whatever. It's like people have bad teeth because of genetics. Like, that's just a thing.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't mean shit.
Absolutely.
It's so annoying. Like, I hate that.
It
Like,
could
and
be
yeah,
literally anything.
yeah, it's so annoying. Like, my one of my
Like
friends growing
literally
up had
anything.
horrible teeth, and it was just genetics. Like, she came out with really bad teeth. It's just the way they were.
Yeah. Well,
Mhm.
I was born with like extra teeth in my mouth.
Mhm.
Like I had like 3 front teeth and like an extra
Yeah.
incisor, and like at one
Yeah.
point I had one that like shot out the side of the roof of my like the top part here. It
Uh
like
huh.
came out there, and
Oh
like
wow.
so my mouth's just always been jacked. And then
Yeah.
like growing up in the family I had, it was
Mhm.
like we were very like we didn't have we didn't have a ton of money. The insurance was shit.
Right.
Like my mom couldn't afford braces or anything like
Mhm.
that. So and then it got to a point where I was like, fuck it. I was like, my teeth are
Right.
shit. Like I don't like they are what they are, and it's
Exactly.
like a combination of like bad genetics, like not growing up with like proper dental care, and
Mhm.
then yeah, a little bit of drugs in there, but
Right. It's
like
not like hardcore,
just a
like years and
combination of
years of.
everything, like just like
Right.
no, I had like a 2 year spit where I was like this and that and the other
Mhm.
thing. I was partying real hard. Like I said, I
Right.
took a really hard landing when I got out of the Navy,
Mhm.
and like doing what I was doing was cool, and I was like,
Right. Yeah.
and I just
Yeah.
didn't feel anything, so it was nice. But yeah, it's like I was severe. Like I was drinking like way too much. I was doing
Mhm.
drugs. And that's why I get really mad. Like if you see online when people like accuse me of
Mhm.
like my ex right now is like accusing me of like being this like massive cokehead, this like this and that and the other thing, and I'm like, it like really gets to me because yeah, at one point in time I did have a problem. I don't anymore. So
Mhm.
like it like almost is like a kick in the nuts. Like
Yeah.
and I know it's being said just because they know that like it
You had a
affects like
past.
it hurts me.
Yeah.
Yeah. But
Yep.
like
Yep.
yeah, I drink no more than like any other normal person. Like, I go out, I'll party on the weekend or I'll have a night
Mhm.
and I'll have a drink after I had a long day like
Mhm. Yeah. I think that's normal though. Like, I'm the same way. I feel like when people accuse me of stuff that isn't true and I know they know it isn't true, I get more angry than like when people accuse me of stuff that is true and I try to cover it up. It's like, the fuck, that's
yeah.
not true. Like, and then they're like, well, you're so mad about it, it
Yeah.
has to be true. And it's like, no, I'm mad because it's not true and you know for a fact it's not true. Like, that's when I get really
Mhm.
angry. And people are like, no, you seem more mad because it is true. And I'm like, I'm more mad because it's not true and they know it's not true. Like, that's why I'm so angry.
Yeah, well that's what I'm like I've been really quiet online about the situation I have going on. Um
Mm-hmm.
which I could probably talk about it now. But like I've been doing nothing but just laying facts out there. Like I'm
Mm-hmm.
like, oh, you want to accuse me of this? Here's paperwork. Here's text
Yeah.
messages. Here's
Yeah.
this. Like I haven't like said anything, but like right now I'm being accused of being what what's the word? An abuser, like beating
Mm-hmm.
women, and like if the drugs and like this and that. And I'm like, I've never put my hands on a woman ever in my life, let alone that one.
Yeah.
And so like I get accused, but like she's accusing me of everything that is absolutely not true. Like she's accused me of being this cheating, manipulative liar, and I'm like, I never cheated on you. You've like you have,
Mm-hmm.
you have, and I'm like, I'd never beat you, and it's like, oh, but you have.
Mm-hmm.
I don't have a drug problem. I'm not saying shit, but
Yeah.
it's like these are all things that like either I've had personal battles with, or that are just completely erroneous. Like the drugs, like that's like I've had a past with that, so like
Mm-hmm.
that hurts. Cheating, I have a past with that. Everybody in the world knows, like that knows who I am knows I have a past of like serial cheating. Like I said, if something's going too good for me, I throw my wrench in it,
Mm-hmm.
and I sat through like 9 months of therapy, like just focusing on like, Bob, why do you cheat? Like, why do you do this? Why do you have to hurt people? So after I do that, and then I finally get in another relationship, and to be accused of it, knowing that I put the work in to not be a cheater,
Mm-hmm.
and like I've recognized like who I am and like what causes it and why I do it, like to be accused of that, it's like, what?
Yeah.
So it's like it sucks, and
It like
like being a
stings
man
in the worst
online,
way. Yeah.
yeah. Because
Mm-hmm.
and then being and like I treated that woman like fucking gold. Where like I got treated like shit. Like I told you, I was forced out of a career. I was forced out of like this, that, and the other thing. Like directions I wanted to take, but they didn't line up with them. So I got pushed up. Get fired up. But
Yeah,
it's just
I think that's what's sad about it is like, and that's what I feel like makes women really angry, like women like me, like, I mean, I have a really great person in my life that I'm with. We went through hell and back to be together, and it's
yeah,
like it's like women like me who just want to find somebody who is really good, honest, has put in the
mm,
work, that has tried, to become a better person and all this, like you've done, and then you have someone like that comes along and just like almost kind of like counteracts all the work that you've done, and you just look at it and you're like, what was it all for? And it almost makes you want to kind of
yeah.
like revert back to what you've been doing before. It's like you just want to take those women and like strangle them, because it's like, stop treating the
I don't
good
want to
ones that
strangle
have.
no woman. I don't want to. I don't want to strangle no
We
woman.
will, like
I'll let you
it's
handle that. I'll let you handle.
right. He didn't do
I
it. I'm
can't.
not. He didn't do it.
I
He
can't.
didn't do
I,
it.
I can't
But
even like. I can't
right,
even do things like while I'm like performing certain events in my life, like
right.
things I used to do, like girls like choking. I'm like, nope, nope.
Can't do it.
She's like
But it's like,
slap my ass. Nope, nope. That was
but
used
it's like,
against me. Like I will
right.
never again put
But
myself
it's
in a
like
situation.
we just want to like take those and be like, stop fucking up the good ones that have put in the work and obviously are doing the things that are trying to become better men for women. It's like, stop, because you're just making them revert back. It's so annoying. It's so
Yeah,
frustrating.
it's and it's like Bailey would yell at me. Like me and Bailey would have heated conversations,
Mm-hmm.
like about
That's
like me
parent.
and the way I was with. Well, she would just come at me. She'd be like, I'd be like, oh, me and so broke up. She's like, what'd you do? What'd you do this time? I'm like, whoa, whoa, kid. She's like, I liked her. Why'd you
Yeah.
do that? I'm like, I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm trying to figure that out.
Yeah.
And but I like you know what it turned into. You know what it turned
Mm-hmm.
into. Like it kind of buried itself in my brain and my subconscious. And it like goes back to like your childhood, and like so many things in your life can be like traced back, and it's like, oh,
Isn't
this is
that
why you
crazy?
act like this,
It's wild.
because you were forced to be the man of your house, and then was for like never knew anything other than like taking care and not getting or doing what you want or speaking up for what I want. So I self-sabotage. So
Mm-hmm.
like if I wanted a situation to be different than what it was, I would pull the trigger myself rather than just having a conversation and saying, "Hey, this isn't what I'm like. This isn't what I signed up for. Like, I don't like what's going on in this relationship right now." So I would just
Mm-hmm.
like take a step out, and like I feel so bad for like any of the women in my past that like starting with like my ex-wife, like I I I wasn't great to her, and I had, I had affairs, and like everybody after, like everybody is just, I feel horrible that I'm like, I look back now and I'm like, I made these women feel god awful.
Mm-hmm.
Like and I can't take that back, but I can be better. I
Yeah.
can't change what I've done in the past. All I can do is be a better man today and tomorrow for whoever's in the future. But right now, I don't think there's anybody in the future. But because dude, oh man, like it's been a year, like it's been like a year and a half, like it's been rough. Like I had my daughter, I lost my daughter.
Mm-hmm.
Then I like moved, I got with this woman that like just kind of controlled every aspect of my life, which was kind of like, I feel like it was what I needed at the time for a little bit,
Mm-hmm.
like because I was like spiraling, and like I found her, and like she kind of gave me a direction, not necessarily the right direction, but like it was like caught me while I was spinning, was like, okay, you're mine now, and then like just kind of dragged me around. And
Mm-hmm.
then after a while of being dragged around by my ear, I was like, wait, this is my life,
Yeah.
and I don't like this. So I left. And
Mm-hmm.
then so she tried to commit suicide on my doorstep after I tried to leave her. And then she started accusing me of all this BS, and it's like completely ruining me. Like I
Yeah.
lost my job. I lost like tens of thousands of, I think I lost like 100,000 followers on TikTok
Mm-hmm.
because of this bullshit. And
Which is
it's not
also
like,
income
and it's
for
not,
you, you
yeah,
know?
yeah, like,
Mm-hmm.
and like I tattoo and I pierce now. All of this directly correlates with each other.
Mm-hmm.
Like people don't like, no like woman or you know that is gonna come into a room and like think that like their piercer, their tattooer is abusive and like be there. Like they don't want to be around that. But like
Mm-hmm.
I'm not. And
Yeah.
like anybody that knows me, like anybody who's ever had a conversation with me in person, like knows me, like been around me, knows that I'm not. That's why people that are sticking up for me, they're trying to get them like shut down as well, just because they're sticking up for me. I'm like the only people that are like sticking up for me are people that know me and know I
Mm-hmm.
wouldn't do that.
Yeah.
But
Well, and I think that's one reason I wanted
even
to have you on here too, is because everybody that listens to my show or knows me knows that I'm a domestic abuse survivor. I'm not going to bring somebody on my
yeah,
show that's an abuser. This is just obviously not going to happen. So, I've seen enough of your stuff and things that you've posted and and what a lot of people would call proof, to know that that's not something that you've done. I've done my
me
due
yelling.
diligence or research, if people want to call it that, to see that what's
Hmm?
being accused is, I don't feel is the truth. I really don't. I 100% stand behind you and believe you, because I'm not gonna bring somebody on here that is accused of something like that I would obviously believe is true. That's just not gonna happen. You
Yeah,
don't seem like somebody who's like
all
that,
of
and everything that you've shown is proof that that's not something you've done. So,
I yelled. I yelled.
right. I
And
mean,
I
there's
said some
arguments
things
that
that
cause things like that. Yeah.
I said some things that I necessarily didn't mean or didn't, like
Right.
heat of the moment kind of shit. You know what I'm
Right.
saying?
That happens.
But
I've done that. I think everybody
like
has.
it's like, but for you to sit there and like knowing everything you did just previous to that,
Mm-hmm.
like, and then record when I finally snap, like
That's
that's
manipulation.
disgusting. Like,
Mm-hmm.
what? Like, I just caught you cheating on me. I just caught you just tried to like commit suicide in my driveway the first time. You attacked me physically
Mm-hmm.
and told me to get over my dead daughter and fucking grow up.
Yeah.
After all of this, I snap at you and I'm the bad guy?
Yeah. That's called
Like, I'm
manipulation.
sorry, it's the anniversary of my daughter's death. You're saying this shit to me, and I lost my temper. So, but like people don't know that, and I haven't actually like that line that I just said. I haven't said that out loud publicly. You
Mm-hmm.
know what I mean? Because then comes like, where's the proof? There is no proof. There was proof because half of this was on a Ring camera, and
Mm-hmm.
this is another reason why it took so long for her to come out. Is because Ring and like Blink and them, if there's ever anything you think you need, download it. Because after 90 days, it goes away.
Mm-hmm.
So after the 90 days, she pops it off on my birthday. Here we are today. I'm trying to regain my life back. And then life is still throwing out curveballs. Because one of my best friends, like, we dated and then we stopped dating and we just grew our friendship, and now like we've been, but she passed last week, and she's like one of the people that's been like, that's not him.
Mm-hmm.
And like this woman used this girl as a scapegoat for like so much shit. I just get so mad about like
Yeah.
how everything went down, and my heart breaks. And I love that girl.
I'm
But like I
sorry.
said, I've done a lot of stupid shit in the past, and I regret a lot of it, and I
Yeah.
regret a lot of things I've done to people. But I've never done something and not grown from it.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what I can say. I grow from my mistakes,
Yeah. I think that's the most important part.
and yeah, like I'm now medicated. I am now. I've been in therapy since like January, since before all this even happened,
Mm-hmm.
and like it's wild. My therapist, though, I think she's getting ready to quit on me because like we go from this and then we start talking about like other stuff that I need to talk about, and I'm like,
Mm-hmm.
we got another thing just happened and I'm not okay. And
She's like,
I feel
shit,
like
here we
that's
go.
something a lot of men need to like hear.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's what she's like. What now? And I'm like, one of the loves of my life is dead. And
Yeah.
she's like, oh no. And I was like, you remember that girl I was telling you about that, like, that was like, this girl was using as this? It's that girl. And she's like, oh. She's like, and then she'll like bail on a session. And I'm like,
Oh no.
that happens.
Well, I hope that doesn't
I love
happen.
my
Hopefully
therapist. I love
she'll.
my therapist to death, but we joke about.
Yeah.
She'll stay. I don't think she's really going, but
Yeah.
it's like, it's like hard like to smile, and like I get asked all the time. I'm like, especially after my last 2 years, they're like, how do you keep going? And literally the only thing I have is like, you just do. You just do. Like,
Mm-hmm. You just
grief
have
and
to.
struggle, it's always gonna be there. It's always gonna be there. And it like, I get a lot of people that'll come into that are like, but well, my problems aren't as bad as yours. And I'm like, why? Who says that? Like, who said that my grief and your grief aren't the same? Who said that
Mm-hmm.
my struggles aren't the same as yours? I feel like when you look at it like as like a statistic based thing, no one event or combination of events is any different from anybody else. Like my struggles and your struggles, how they affect us is it could be the same, could be worse. Like you could have a death in your family or whatever, a close death, and you could be completely fine, or you know your dog could die and that could like completely crush you. Like there's no like hierarchy of grief or hierarchy of problems and how they affect somebody.
Yeah.
So I'll have people that like had a miscarriage and they come to me and they're like, it's not the same as you. And I'm like, but who's to say that that hasn't affected you the same way it's affected my situation has affected me? I
had somebody explain on another episode that I did about grief and the way that grief works. I had three separate people on. One was a guy who was in a car accident and lost both of his sons. He survived. Another girl lost her brother to murder, and a mom lost her son in a motorcycle accident. And all three of them were explaining, you know, how grief worked for them. And one of them explained he became a grief coach after losing his sons in the car accident. And he said grief is not in stages; it's in cycles, because you're always grieving in some way, shape, form, or fashion. So anymore, grief is not in just, you don't go through the stages of grief and then it's over. You go through the stages and then it cycles back. And you don't always go through the same, it's not always in the same order. One cycle may go in these steps, and then the next cycle is in completely different steps, you know? So grief is always changing and going.
You can be it's always changing, and you can be completely good in one, and then another like just crush you. And like that's like with this one that I'm dealing with right now. Like Bailey and her they got along very well. They were super friendly. Like they loved each other, you know. So like in my heart, I feel like, you know, they're just like Bailey's not alone anymore.
Yeah.
And like that helps me in a way, you know. And like it's sad and it sucks, but I see him, and like I went through moments where I was like, I wish I could trade places with her. And I the past week has been really fucking rough.
Yeah.
Because like we waited and we watched, because she had an asthma attack and just never came out of it.
Oh my goodness.
And she was on life support for like 3 or 4 days, and like just waiting and hoping, praying that she'd wake up. And
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Breaks my heart for you.
Yeah, but I don't know if you saw my little tribute video I did for like Abby, but there's a clip at the end of it of her and Bailey like walking in the sheets, and like that sticks in my brain because I see that like they're just walking into a gas station. It's like a 3-second clip, but in my like that image is in my brain, and like they're happy and they were skipping and they were just. And I hope that they're doing that wherever they are, you know, because like I'm not religious. I don't know what's out there, and I don't really care, because once I leave, I'm gonna be dead, so it don't matter.
Same, kind of the same way. Yeah.
It's like it's a struggle, and like, but like people ask, and they're like, how do you keep going? I'm like, well, number one, if I was to show up wherever Bailey is too early, she'd kick my ass. There would be no forgiveness in that. And that really, and then the other factor is just like I said before, at this point, I like, it's like almost comical, because I'm like, shit. What next, universe?
What's
like,
next?
What else you got for me? Like, what? You kill my kid? I'm still here. You fucking ruined my life? I'm still here. You take somebody else I love, I'm still fucking here. What else are you gonna throw at me? And like, it's almost like it almost feels like I'm going to the gym. Like I just feel like I just feel powerful because I feel like, okay, you can't kill me, you can't get me. And I know it sounds so weird, but like that's
No, I
what it
get
does
it.
in my head, and
I do. I get
that's
it.
like that's why I say like I don't take anybody's situation lightly. Like
Yeah.
I just don't, and I feel like everybody has it, and like this is like the live vividly thing, like that's where, because you don't, like me and Bailey started saying it like a year or so before she died, and it was kind of like along the lines of like, you know, be you and like live vividly and like, you know, just be yourself, live like there is no tomorrow, because there is a very good, you know, there's a chance that there is no tomorrow. You could walk out this door and, you know, car come off and smack you, and not even like completely unexpected, like,
Yeah.
or you could eat something, choke on it, and die. And like, it's not like
you can get out of bed, slip, fall, and hit your head on the table, and anything.
Go to bed, have an aneurysm. Like anything can happen. So like, you can't live in fear of
Agreed.
what could be.
Yeah.
Because you just got to take every day as it comes, and every day you get extra is a freaking miracle in my book.
Yeah, I agree.
So.
I mean, I had my aunt pass away in 2021. She slipped and fell in the shower and hit her head back here, and immediately passed. There was nothing anybody could have done. And after that, I was like, oh shit, like life can literally be over in 2 seconds.
Just like that.
That was kind of when I was like, I gotta start doing what's best for me, myself, and my kids, and that's it. Nobody else matters.
Right. No, I understand that completely, and like I've been stuck at a weird stage where it's like I've gone back to my 20s again, and like, because I don't have like responsibility now. Like, I don't have any, like, I'm finally, like, now after this breakup, like, I'm taking care of me, and I'm doing the things I need to do for myself, because I want my life to be worth something. And I feel like it has, and now it's been redirected, and I don't know exactly where we're heading, but we're heading somewhere. And like, I feel like if you just keep a mindset like that, like, I'm still needed in this world for something. Like, there's a reason I'm not dead. Like that, everybody that's sitting in their living room, sitting on a couch, sitting in their car, everybody is here for some reason or another. There's a reason that you weren't taken away, or there's a reason that you were. You know, like I feel like sometimes I feel like, you know, my daughter was taken from me to teach me that. You know, that like life can be over, and you can't sit here and like live in just fear of like what if. So jump, live vividly, take that leap, you know.
Yeah.
So,
well, I think on that note,
thanks for coming to my TED Talk.
I think on that note, I think it's been a great episode, and I think what you're doing since the, you know, passing of her has been incredible. And I think just being able to share your story with people and allow people to know that you've kept going is a really great message, you know, and what you just said is a great message. So
I feel the same way. I feel like maybe that's where I'm heading. Like I'm here as like proof that you can get through it. Like no matter what you're dealing with, you can get through it.
Yeah. Well, listen, I really appreciate you coming on and sharing your story today. So,
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, of course.
Appreciate it.
Thank you all so much for tuning in to this week's episode. Make sure you hit the follow button on whatever listening platform you are using, and head over to my social media pages and give me a follow there as well. You can find me on Facebook, Instagram, and now TikTok at Creating Yourself Pod. And if you have a story you would like to share on this podcast, email me at creatingyourselfpod@gmail.com, or you can message me on any of my social media pages. Make sure and come back next Tuesday for a brand new episode. Hope you guys have a great week. Bye.